All right. So that's it. You've made a theme for all intents and purposes. So really, at this point, you could go through and just change just the style, and you would have a theme there. Now, what we're going to do next week is delve in a little bit deeper into it. So hopefully that gives you an idea of PHP and WordPress, but that's a real bare bones. From there, we can start building into it. We're going to build, next week, we're going to build a navigation area, which is going to be the most complicated thing we're going to do. And then we're going to do a footer. So that will be the pinnacle of the most complex of what we make in this class is going to be next week. So next week's will be a little bit rougher. But then after that, honestly, it's all going to be smooth sailing. So I know some of those earlier classes are kind of tough because we do like JavaScript and that sort of stuff, and it's very foreign and it's very precise. This is going to have a little bit of that as well, but it shouldn't be. I think it might not be as bad. I don't know. We'll find out. You'll find that most of, at least my experience has been, most of the web technologies are not complicated in and of themselves, but there's just so many of them working together that it gets complicated. So, like, I teach game design, and in game design, we learn C#, and you learn C#, and it interacts with Unity, and that's it. Like, you just make those things work. But in here, it's like you have HTML, which is super simple, right? And then you have CSS, and that's pretty simple. But then there's JavaScript, and then there's PHP, and then there's, like, other things. You know what I mean? And it's just, you throw them all together, and then all of a sudden, it becomes just a lot of cogs making something, you think just a sheet, right? Just a visual sheet that you're looking at, and it ends up being like somewhat complicated. Okay, so that's just the way it is. But hopefully you got a decent understanding. If you don't understand all the things, I highly suggest, like I did in the beginning, just go online, just search the items, and then try to understand what they're saying about them. That's the best way to learn. The more you struggle with something, and it's not me saying it, this is science. The more you struggle with learning something, the more you actually learn it. For those of you that are just flying by and like, oh, this is no problem, blah, 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 you've learned nothing, and you should be ashamed of yourselves. But seriously, I really struggle to learn this stuff. Just not program-oriented. But because I struggle with it, I feel like when I do get it, I grasp it better. And that will probably be for those of you that are like that as well. Okay, so just stick with it. It will get easier. So anyway, good job. Keep this train rolling, whatever people say.